We definitely pressed the button.
Yeah, we're unmuted now.
Can they hear?
They can hear us. They can hear us. Except I don't think that's our show.
Is it not? Do we need to?
Actually,
It says we're now host, or we were hosting. Not anymore. So, okay, yeah. All right, cool.
Okay. Well, you know.
wait. Okay,
Hey,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
If it's saying we're no longer hosting, that should be swapped over. It's just taking me
But the
time.
fact that nobody said anything. Oh, there we go. There's Case.
Yeah, I think we've just been getting, like, last time we also ran into this thing. It was like, hey, are people there? It's like, yeah, they're there. It's just on a delay. I think the delay's more significant right now.
Also, it's relying on people to show up just purely for being subbed or following us versus putting out a tweet or social media stuff. Usually bring people in faster.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. That kind of pre-planning you can't expect here on the My Hero Review.
Nah, the My Hero Review show it happens every Monday at 5. You're here,
Or,
or you're not.
You know about it, you don't.
So looking at this picture that everyone can see of
Yes.
of Nighteye, his hair like I didn't notice it before, but that's very Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like the two-tone,
Yeah.
kind of one color underneath another.
Helmet hair.
I am very curious. He's got yellow eyes. He has yellow eyebrows.
Okay.
But he's got this green hair with yellow streaks.
He's a natural blonde.
So what the fuck?
He's an amber-eyed blonde who made his hair green as well.
I
Yeah,
also
you
hadn't
know-
noticed till just now that he has a polka dot tie. That's kind of like that's a bit fun and jovial.
Yeah, that works for his character. It's
Yeah.
like technically business formal, but it's got that
Yeah,
really
like,
casual.
but you
in it.
know he can have fun. He's got that polka dot tie.
Yeah.
He's all about the fun.
Yeah, and it's just he doesn't look it from a glance. That's why it's throws you off.
Yeah. So I guess when are we feeling like moving over to camera? I guess we got another like
Yeah, we got
8
some
minutes,
How about 3 more minutes from now, we'll move over to Cam.
and then we'll give us some more time, and then we'll actually review.
We'll
Or we
actually
could
do
just... Well, I would like to start at 5, because
Yeah,
people do
yeah.
know that it starts at 5.
Yeah,
so I don't wanna-
we should start right at 5. We just bullshit for now.
Yeah.
We were talking about Outer Worlds before.
Outer
Yeah.
Worlds is a stupid, terrible game, and I
Whoa.
was not paid by Bethesda to say that.
Wow.
I was also
Wow.
paid to say that by Bethesda. Shit!
Wow, I can't believe it, Scott. How dare you have such opinions?
Such very real opinions.
Oh no! Oh no!
I haven't played it yet, but
Nah,
everything I've seen from it looks good.
I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'm really enjoying the anti-corporate commentary.
That seems to be. I saw one article complain that they're like it has this anti-capitalism stance, but never really feels like it sticks to it or does something with it. They were
I mean-
talking in vagaries with spoilers, but it just sounds like. it's one
I'm
of
not
the
sure
things
it's
that-
anti-capitalism, it's anti-corporate, and I think
Okay,
that's a big
alright.
difference. There's a big difference there.
Gotcha.
I know to people who aren't either of those things, it might all seem like the same, but no,
Also fair.
it's not necessarily a socialist stance. It's more of a not completely free market to the point where we're not free anymore stance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Could you turn down the music? Oh my God. Okay.
He's adjusting as he pays attention.
yeah. Well,
Want to talk about unpopular opinions? KH3 is the best Kingdom Hearts game in gameplay, but huge disappointment in story.
I'm pretty sure that's a popular opinion at
that
this point.
I would disagree that it was the best in gameplay.
I still think, I don't know, I like a lot of stuff in 3, but I do think 2 has the most
Two
crisp, like,
yes, like I think 2 actually has the most fun combat.
Yeah, I like in general how the action feels in 3, but I think it's a little too gimmick heavy. If it were more focused on just fighting some more and like getting you being good at that, I think it'd be more up 2's alley.
Gotcha.
But I think that all the roller coaster shit really drags the game.
Nah, man, those super cool rides are.
I remember when
everywhere.
I remember when I saw the rides for the first time, and I was really excited about that because I was like, "Oh, cool! The rides are in here." And then at some point, I was like, "Oh, I guess we're gonna do the ride again."
It's one of those things where I think they put so many of them in, and they were like clearly like very visually intense and stunning and stuff that they kind of just made them pop up a lot of places. And I think it would have been better if it was more along the lines of like, we are going to limit these to like big boss or set piece encounters and kind of make them more the focus versus this thing that you can kind of just summon whenever, because that made them really not feel like they had much impact by the time I was done.
Yeah. By the way, why don't we just shut off the music if we're just talking the whole time anyway?
Also true.
There we go. All right.
Hey.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, no, the attractions. I think the attractions would have been great if they were context sensitive, like specifically when you're in this area. This area is built for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like something in the environment will let you do a sort of.
Oh my God!
Thing.
What if each one of those fucking attractions had been for each world?
Yeah, I think yeah,
Okay.
like, and if you ran into a specific situation where it was necessary, then it's fun to do it.
Then you could have used Buzzy's dumb fucking one for the Toy Story one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it could have been really.
You could have used the carousel for Tangled because of horse.
Yeah,
Of course.
Of course, horse. Tangled
a horse, of course.
carousel.
Yeah,
And the pirate ship on pirates because you're a pirate.
yeah,
You know what? God damn it.
yeah. I think that would have improved things.
We've
some.
already fixed Kingdom Hearts 3.
Wow.
Let
there
us.
you go, Nomura.
Yeah.
Free advice.
And
exactly.
right here.
And I will say, like, and this is mostly on me, but I am the person who forgot to use the shot mechanic the entire game.
Yeah, the shot lock thing.
We're gonna move over to Cam so you can see our faces.
Ooh, look at that. Face reveal.
Well, we're gonna keep bullshitting though. But yeah,
Yeah,
like
for now.
I am the person who forgot about that shot lock mechanic entirely, and then fought Xehanort without once using the shot lock.
Yeah, and it makes that fight much easier.
And I was like, oh, well, the Xehanort fight was really hard, and people were like, what? No, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, I was underleveled and.
we're
And
not
it wasn't
this
using shot
mechanic
lock.
that has not really been necessary for most of this game.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to being underleveled, I had the opposite problem in Borderlands 3.
Oh yeah.
Super
Yeah.
leveled.
Oh my God, I've been going back through it, and yeah, I destroyed the final boss on my first go. Just destroyed it. It was really bad.
I think I think that that's a testament to just how hard it is to balance leveling though, when it's so much is based on what the player chooses to do.
Because here's the thing, I can barely hear Scott. Huh? Oh shoot. Is this Mike?
That was Nick's mic, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That mic
That's right,
was
you
one
guys
that Nick
recorded
had,
something in here
which
today.
meant it had to be turned down a lot.
Yeah. We actually recorded a One Piece Stampede review today, which
We'll be out eventually.
eventually this week.
We'll try to get out soon.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's up to 10 now.
Cool.
All right. Cool.
Hooray.
But yeah, Borderlands 3. I actually went back and I started. So one of the cool things that the game does is that once you beat it, you can use what is called Mayhem Mode. And Mayhem Mode, there are 3 versions of it, and on level 1, it is 100%. Like it basically doubles the experience that you get from every opponent, but also ups all of their levels to your level. So no matter where you go, you're going to fight somebody on your level.
That does sound like a way to level up quickly in a game.
Well, here's the thing. Once you beat the game, you've got maybe 5 levels left to go before you hit the cap.
Okay.
Which is exactly what I did, like just that. But the other thing that it does is that the higher you go, the more powerful your opponents are. Crits do less damage. You're fighting against these anointed enemies, which are basically like sub-bosses. And I jumped into Mayhem 3 last night, and it took me 5 minutes of nothing but critical hits on this dude's head before he finally went down, and there was another one right behind him. And I was like, I'm going to run out of ammo before I even get through this area.
And unfortunately, and that's like an extreme version of my entire problem with the Borderlands series and why I don't get into it. There's a lot of that and like shooty stuff, and I don't like to play with games with other people. So like Outer Worlds is like the version of Borderlands that I actually want to play.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I've heard, for real quick, just a last Outer Worlds note. I've heard that it is maybe like at first it seems level balanced properly, but if you actually explore it, pretty quickly becomes very easy to over level in that game.
Ooh.
And I don't know if that's
again,
something you've noticed.
that's such a common thing that people cite with RPGs. Where it's
Yes,
just like,
yeah.
I'm sure this is just super hard to do unless you're in a very linear game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if just one of those things where like we can't really do much about that
Yeah.
unless the game is leveling characters according to what you're doing, which at that point you're not really progressing as much as
Yeah, then it just becomes the game kind of flatlines.
Yeah.
It's always this basic level
Which,
of challenge.
let's be honest, that's why they provide you a good RPG anyway, or any good game that allows you to level up will give you extra bosses.
Yeah, and extra stuff to challenge yourself when you get to those levels. And speaking of extra things that challenge you, work study programs and students.
Oh, we're just right into
going
it.
right in.
I was gonna
All
say
right.
it's about time.
Boom.
All right. So, welcome back to another week of My Hero Academia reviews. Yep, that's it, actually.
My Hero
That-
Academia reviews. Yeah.
Yep.
I
My
think
Hero
I've been
Academia
titling it in
reviews.
the archives as just My Hero Academia Season 4 reviews. But, we can figure out something more
Good.
catchy later.
We're back
We won't.
to talk about episode 3 of season 4. And it's I think one of the things you told me earlier after you just finished watching it for today was, man, I can't wait till the next episode when the story starts.
Yeah, I liked this episode, but yeah, the story still has not started.
Yeah.
And I think this is just a major problem with the first episode being that one nothing episode.
I got to agree, man.
Just kind of already hurts the momentum.
Yeah,
And then
it's
we've
dragging
got some set
the
up.
opening down a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Not to mention, I had forgotten actually this part of the manga. I'm refamiliarizing myself because it's been so long since I read it, and some of the stuff is not boring necessarily, but it is a little bit
It's not what you're here for.
not necessarily.
Yeah, I liked it. And I was surprised that within the episode they took care of the entire.
Oh yeah.
They didn't drag it out to be the whole episode. That little test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they are pretty good about that usually.
Yeah.
Gotta ask you guys both, and I should have asked you this earlier. Did you watch the post credits?
Yes.
I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I noticed, and I gotta pay attention to this shit now. Is that when I look at when I see the
It's
ending?
like, oh, that looks a bit long.
Yeah, it's like that is way longer than a minute and a half.
So they put a scene there and didn't tell you.
An important scene.
Yeah.
A very
They'll
important
probably
scene.
replay it in the opening
Yeah,
of the
they
next
will.
episode.
They
but-
absolutely will.
But I do consider, because it wasn't a next time, it's part of the episode
Yeah.
from my
And
perspective.
And I caught it just because I always watch the next time ons. I know some people feel they're more spoilery than they should be, but I like watching these as if I am watching it week to week. And this is what I would have done after school if I was watching DBZ
Yeah.
or whatever.
And I will say this would have been the perfect opportunity to just throw in some filler of him doing some stuff before this happens. But no, in the manga, it just sort of like happens when
goes.
he's out and about.
Yeah.
And so they're just going straight to it. They're not adding any filler, which is like, okay, we're in it.
Yeah, I would not have even minded if like they'd given us a third episode of filler, or even an entire episode of filler. I would not have been surprised. But no, he runs into. Oh, actually, you know what?
Yeah,
We're skipping
we'll
ahead.
get there.
Yeah.
So this episode is immediately follows through on the repercussions of him doing the bad joke with his face. But as we find out, turns out Sir Nighteye isn't actually all that upset that he made the face, but that he did it wrong.
It's not accurate enough in centimeters
Yeah.
of wrinkles.
And there's
2 centimeters off.
I won't lie, there's a bit of this that I absolutely love. Because he goes in there, he does the face. Nighteye corrects him, and then Izuku shoots back, "Yo, motherfucker! Don't you remember the vinegar incident?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck? Where is he going with
This
this?"
is an obscure All Might face, sir.
Yeah, only real fans
Yeah.
know this face.
And then he's like, this was a test
It's
of
like,
my All Might fandom.
yeah, well, fucking, he's like, "Are you fucking gatekeeping me, motherfucker?" And like Midoriya, without missing a beat, "No, I'm just glad I found somebody who gets me." And I'm like, "That's so good."
So the instance he's talking about, the vinegar river, is that there was a kid who fell into a river and had the power to change the quality of water around him into vinegar, which is a fucking villain power if I've ever heard one, by the way. Oh, you're town's water source. Like, just fuck that hole up. But anyway, we get All Might in there to save him, but getting all the vinegar in his eyes really stings, so it changes how his face looks. And
Yep.
it really means a lot to Deku because he's like, no one really cared about this one because it didn't involve a supervillain, so people thought it was a boring rescue. But this, like, we kind of get like a weird thrown in note, like the kid had a rough home life, and so All Might being so jovial with him was like good and like helpful, and it just meant a lot.
And instead of becoming a villain, he probably went on to be a chef, like, and, just
good
turn the
point,
tap water
yeah.
into vinegar.
You know,
But
never
that
have to
does
buy vinegar.
touche.
That does not stop him from when he's out with friends and somebody asks for a bottle of water. 1 out of every like 10 times, he fucks them.
Well, and here's a question: like, can his quirk progress if he keeps practicing it and turn into other things as well? Like,
That
not
would
just
be.
vinegar.
It would be interesting to see how that.
I know
part
this
develops.
character doesn't matter.
Can he turn the water in the air to vinegar? If we drop this man,
I want to see what happens with Vinegar Boy.
can he touch your skin and turn all the water in your body into vinegar?
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll find out more about him next season.
The hero Vin Nitro. I must see.
Vinny!
But yeah, so he actually hits it off with Nighteye.
Yeah, Nighteye reveals he's a huge All Might fanboy and even has an exclusive 10th anniversary poster that was never released to the public.
Yep.
And Deku is immediately, I want that.
Yeah. And so at first,
I do love that delivery. Like you hit it, but I do love the delivery. Oh my God, he has that 10th anniversary poster. I want it. Just
Yeah,
in his
he
head,
just
he's
screams
he's
it.
Just very dramatic about it.
but that's when we are led to believe that he's gonna sign him on. Like, he gives him the warning. Hey, this isn't like a regular internship, okay? You're gonna be paid because we're gonna work the dick off you, all right?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I understand. I'm ready for this. Goes to stamp it, hits the desk. And I just love the fact that he's like, I think you missed. And then he just starts tapping it.
Yeah,
Fucking
to
tapping.
emphasizing
That was good.
points. It's real good.
And I'll say, like, the animators put a lot of effort into his hands and fingers.
Yeah.
Like of just emphasizing what he's doing
Lots of hand motions.
with his fucking
his digits.
his Quinn hands.
Yeah.
Those big bony fingers of his.
Damn.
He's not. I'm not.
Now I'm just imagining. Now I'm
Just an
imagining
observation.
Quinn doing a cosplay of Nighteye, and
could do it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Now we've said it. Now we've spoken it into existence. Sorry,
Oh,
Quinn.
now we
you
know
have
what
to
his
do it.
Halloween costume is.
Halloween costume on Wednesday. Quinn, throw it together. Nighteye. Do you have a white suit?
Green blonde wig.
Oh God.
I loved the animator's extra care in his fingers and what he was doing with his fingers.
Yeah.
That was pretty great. And it must have been really hard for them because Kohei Horikoshi is great at drawing hands and he obviously loves doing it. But most animators suck. Like artists suck at drawing hands, so it must have been kind of hell to like try and intricately draw.
Oh yeah. No,
Those
I don't
hands.
I don't even want to imagine what that was like. I've never been able to draw a single hand in my life.
It like getting to the point where you can do it just okay is frustrating.
But yeah, so basically Nighteye gives the full rundown of how, like, hey, so I've got a protege, I've got my own intern right now, I've got all this shit going on,
And things are going fine.
Yeah.
Like, what are you bringing to me? I get, like, he kind of turns it around. He's like, I understand.
What's your value
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
society?
He's like, I get that this internship is going to be really good for you. It's going to teach you a lot of things. But as the person taking you on, I need to know, what are you bringing to me? How are you going to help? How do you contribute to society?
Yeah.
And just getting real into All Might had strength and humor, damn it, and you don't seem to have either. And
Yeah.
just getting real intense with him.
And of course, Midoriya gives his usual, I just want to be a hero that makes people smile, but that's not good enough for Nighteye. So what he tells him is, I will stamp, if you can take this from my hand and stamp the page yourself.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And like,
so,
it doesn't matter what happens to anything in this room, just go for it.
Yeah. And specifically tells him, it doesn't matter what happens to anything in this room, which, first of all, damn on his part. Like, that's saying a lot. Because
Ruin all my All Might merch if
He
you
must
want.
have another 10th anniversary poster.
yes, he does. He literally has all of them. Nobody else has them. So he tells, it's just basically, and I'm not going to lie, it's a repeat of the Gran Torino scene.
Yeah. It's very feels very similar.
but tells Midoriya, go at it. And he even points out immediately, like, these are just a poor man's Gran Torino moves.
Yeah.
Which, man, Nighteye is ruthless in this episode. I gotta admit.
Yeah.
He is ruthless with Midoriya. He cuts him down over and over and over during this entire bit.
Which this is when Nighteye kind of reveals, well, his quirk is revealed to us. Deku clearly kind of knew a little bit about it going in, but he reveals that if he makes physical contact and locks eyes with them, he is now able to see every decision they're going to make for the next hour.
Yes.
Which I thought it was kind of weird when President Mike was like giving the description. For some reason, he cuts out so Nighteye can come in with the specifications, though, are secret. Like
Yeah.
the trigger is secret. No one knows about that part. So I
Yeah.
think it's just supposed to be like, by the way, Decker didn't get that that's how this worked.
Yeah. He just knows that he can do it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, it's good that it's kept secret, because if nobody knows, then
Yeah, it'd be
people-
really
yeah.
easy for villains to just close their eyes around you. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't tell anyone that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's I will say, like, Nighteye, one thing that slightly, like, it doesn't bug me, it's just a little bit of like a thing in the back of my head, is just like, cool, yeah, Nighteye can see what's happening. How is he still fast enough to deal with super speed Midoriya?
well, that's one of the.
Like,
so,
is he moving before Midoriya even moves?
That's
Like,
just how good the professional hero Sir Nighteye is. He's done this so many times that it's like not only can he see the future, he can I'm assuming
Yeah,
like,
he's got to
like,
at least be a little bit athletic.
Well, yeah, and like just can instantly analyze it and just be like,
Yeah.
all right, okay, he's coming from here, so my best move is this.
Yeah,
and
like he's Sherlock Holmesing it in his head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like there's
Robert
definitely
Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes.
he's
clearly.
obviously in shape. He's obviously his body is probably at peak fucking condition because he's a hero. He's not just going to like.
He's got like a lithe swimmer's body.
I like to think. I would like to think so. I'd like to think that underneath there.
fucking condition.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like if you were a cattle, you'd be like, nah, too stringy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so he is able to die. You know, that is a good point. And Midori himself points out, like, I just need to go faster than he can react.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that he tries his best to get around everything Nighteye throws at him. I love the part where he like takes the books, like all those fucking papers, and tries to get behind them. And it's like, all right, if you can't see me, do you know what I'll do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he starts testing the limits of his power, which is what Midoriya usually does. He's like, all right, so what can he do? Let's figure this out.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he had more than 3 minutes, if he could have figured out a way to do this, like actually, because it seems like kind of the real test of this was going to be, I have a power that there is probably a way to beat, presumably, but you've got 3 minutes to figure that out, and I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
And so that kind of is how it went for him, and things are looking grim for old Midoriya.
We should also point out that during this, we find out that Tokiyomi is actually getting an internship.
I think
that's
that
at
actually
the end of
happens
the
later.
episode.
Yeah.
Was that later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one, like, they don't interrupt any of this.
Yeah, I guess,
Deku's test
yeah.
gets all resolved before we come back to that stuff.
But Nighteye does reveal to Midoriya during this that Toga.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then
this
he's like, yeah, and All Might chose wrong.
Yeah, he's
Toga's
like,
just way better. You kind of suck.
Yeah.
You're too normal.
Yeah, as I said, fucking ruthless. This dude
Yeah.
is a bastard in this episode. Like, he does everything he can to psychologically kneecap Midoriya in this challenge.
Yeah, and it seems like he's just being mean, but I wonder how much of it like is him just sort of being like, all right, let's push you. Let's see.
Yeah.
You know,
Well-
he knows how Midoriya's gonna react because he can already see what's gonna happen. But
Well, so here's where it gets interesting. So after the actual, 3 minutes, yeah, he doesn't get the stamp.
yeah,
But what we find out after, so during all of this, Midoriya has been jumping all over the room. Again, it's a repeat of what happened with Gran Torino.
at super speed, which is important.
Yeah. Except for, this time it's, I forget. And during the Gran Torino thing, was he the one moving around? Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
was. Yeah, he was.
they both were. He had to catch him.
Yeah. This one, so I like in this one, fucking Nighteye doesn't even move. He just
Yeah.
dodges. But so we see here, after everything is done, he he notes like I can't remember what is the thing that makes him realize.
It's that he's like you got one mistake and then you just face plant into the wall just because you're freaking out.
Right.
It's like, no, I wasn't freaking out. I didn't want to hit the poster. And then Nighteye looks around and is like, oh, he hasn't hit a single bit of All Might merch, even though he was going as fast as Gran Torino.
Yeah, at the last second, he's
he just somehow was able to think fast enough to consider his environment the entire time while trying to win.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, yeah, you're cool.
Yeah, and I love that fact. I love the fact that he's like, he just doesn't want to hit that damn poster, and that's what does it, which is really funny for me.
Yeah.
Because it is a great way to tell the audience that he has missed every single piece of All Might merchandise in that entire room.
And it's covered in it. Like
And
they
it-
made
yeah,
a point
yeah, it's-
earlier going like, oh, he's got stuff all over for All Might.
And that's really like, first of all, great use of Midoriya's. Like, it's nice when somebody's character really plays into a fight like that.
Yeah.
And second, it's a great way to help show that Midoriya was working under a handicap at that point.
Yeah.
Like he was handicapping himself by not actually damaging the room. And Nighteye also.
I do love, just as a note, like earlier when he throws all the books, he's like, sorry, while he does it.
Yeah. And also we find out that Nighteye was always going to bring him on.
Yeah, he kind of reveals after he's like, all right, go ahead and do it. I was going to take you anyway. I never said that not getting this meant you weren't getting the internship, just that it was guaranteed. So here you go. Go ahead and come in. But then he kind of adds the little, like, kind of twist the knife there at the end. He's like, I'm not bringing you on because I think you're a worthy successor, by the way. I want you to see how not worthy you are, so you hand it off. And it's just like, damn, that's okay.
Yeah. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
He's kind of a dick.
But he obviously has had his heart set on Togata being being All Might's successor.
It's like, there's still a better candidate than you, and I still believe that. And I want you working next to him so you realize what the gap between you two is.
Yeah, well, and also, like, you know, Midoriya's like, oh, why didn't All Might tell me that? Like, what? And he's like, actually, like, I don't know, like, for some reason, for Midoriya, as soon as he learns that somebody else was considered for this before him, and by some people is considered more worthy, that's kind of messing with Midoriya's head.
Yeah, which, again, I had forgotten that scene even happened here. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, bro.
And
shit.
I don't know. I think this somewhat implies that this is part of what they disagreed on, Nighteye and All Might.
He kind of makes it seem like this is.
But I can't remember what the exact details. So this is actually a bit where I'm like guessing a bit. But it seems somewhat implied that this is part of what they heavily disagreed on and why they aren't talking a little bit.
And he does even still, like we know that All Might was very, I don't want to talk to Nighteye, but he even drops, he's like, I love and respect All Might, but I think he made a terrible decision choosing you. And it's like, it's like, there's no bad blood between us. I still think we're all cool and everything. But man, did he mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting because this is the first time, as we pointed out, All Might's retirement is now public, and everybody now knows, including all the people in the Heroes Association who didn't know that, All Might, he doesn't have his power anymore. Which now we're exploring the fallout of that actual transference. To see somebody immediately be like, he shouldn't have done that and you were the wrong choice. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, and I like how when he stamps it, he just sort of lets it go and it falls right on it because once again his future powers, which
actually falls into Midoriya's hand.
I
just wanted it to.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna, which I guess that wouldn't make sense if he did anyway, because
he didn't lock eyes with the stamp.
Yeah, exactly. That would make sense. But I still, I liked him just sort of dropping it. He still has Midoriya stamp himself. And then Midoriya goes back to class, and this is when we learn about the other students.
Yeah.
So we find out first that Gunhead, Fourth Kind, and someone else, all of their internships are not eligible for the work study program because they're not heroes who are recognized enough or have as much of a track record that they feel safe letting UA students who keep being in the center of danger go with them. But
they want real good heroes
Yeah.
on board.
but everyone's all excited for Midoria. He's the first one to be formally announced as someone as part of a work study program.
And as someone as important as Nighteye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get a little cutaway to Todoroki and Bakugo, and Todoroki's just like, distance between us is getting bigger. We're gonna have to get this figured out. And Bakugo just kind of gives a assuring yeah, we can do it.
Well, I think it's more like fucking guard.
Well, yeah, but still confident and
I think honestly, I think it's Todoroki's way of kind of like reaching out to Bakugo and being like, "Hey, we're in this together,"
Yeah,
sort of
come on,
thing.
man.
But but they're both so stunted that they can't actually talk to each other.
Watching Shoto reach out and try and be friends with Bakugo, it has been
It's like a really weird attempt at camaraderie.
yeah, and it's sort of funny because you've got a guy with half fire powers, half ice powers, and a guy who's basically explosions.
Yeah.
And yeah, they don't exactly mix well.
Yeah. But yeah, and Uraraka's like, we don't, me and Asui don't have anything that we can do.
Oh yeah.
Suyu, whatever.
Sue couldn't go with
Suyu Asui.
Selkie
Yeah.
was also not recognized enough. But then Eraser comes in with some good news for Tokiyami, saying that he has been accepted by Hawks, the number 3 hero, to be in his agency.
So, yeah, well, and
Real missed opportunity for a birds of a feather bit.
It's All Might, then Fireman,
Endeavor,
then Hawks, which so technically, obviously,
Are we sure? Is this counting Endeavor as the number 1 and was
Endeavor's number?
Oh, yeah,
Endeavor
it's-
was number 2. They haven't talked about if anything's changed. So I guess.
I feel like in
I
the
don't
first
remember.
episode there
yeah.
was like a news report going like Endeavor's the new number 1 and no one likes him.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
guess-
quite remember that detail. But yeah, either way, Hawks is a very big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawks is a major player from what we're getting.
Yeah. Don't expect him for a while. That's
Okay.
the only thing I can say.
That's
yeah,
fair.
not this season.
Yeah.
Unless they decide to show something. But I don't think they will.
He's in the movie. He's in the movie coming out.
Oh,
really?
no one coming out.
Yeah.
I was
So I
like,
guess
was
we'll
he
see
in
him
the movie?
early.
Yeah. We get to see Hawks in that movie coming out.
Oh, that's fun.
That's neat.
Yeah.
A real missed opportunity for a birds of the feather bit. But then we also get told that Kirishima, Asui, and Uraraka are all 3. Kirishima is being looked for by the upperclassman male who was not Togata
Emo
that we
boy.
met. Yeah, Flea Kid or whatever his thing was. I can't remember. The emo-looking kid. And then
in the big 3.
the big 3, the other dude who is not
Yeah, I forget his name.
Togata. I'm blanking on his name. And then Hado, the girl, wants to see Asui and Uraraka.
Yeah.
And so they've both been called in by upperclassmen. Not exactly a work study thing, but something's clearly happening. They drop it for a reason.
Yeah, so I think it's implied that they're gonna take care of them, get them in on stuff.
And with each of these announcements, we keep cutting back to Todoroki and Bakugo, where Todoroki keeps going,
just keeps
yep,
stating the
there we go.
exact same
More
thing.
people getting ahead of us, and Bakugo getting increasingly mad that
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that Todoroki has to mention it every time.
So mad.
Just stop saying it. I get it. We're falling behind. Cool.
Yeah, it's destroying my soul. I
Yeah.
know.
Every time you say this, it's like you're stabbing me.
And then we just go straight from that to just Deku back at his work study.
Yeah, it kind of jumps back to, all right, Deku, here's who we're looking at, and he gets to finally see a picture of Overhaul and is told that this is guy used to be part of the, criminal syndicate, organized crime, used to be much more of a big a deal, but now they're kind of. He says they work in a legal gray area that's very close to black, which I thought was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, and
But we can't treat them like villains yet.
yeah, and they said he recently struck a deal with the League of Villains, which is I can't help but wonder, and I don't remember anything about this, so I'm actually talking here, but I can't help but wonder how they have that information, who could have leaked that. Was it someone in the Yakuza?
Well,
Was it someone in the League of Heroes?
In the last
Villains?
episode, the report that Bubble Girl gives Nighteye is we investigated the villain's hideout and we found traces of a scuffle, and we know they were following him. So they at least know they've met. I don't know if they know that they've struck any sort of deal.
We found bits of person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bits of a dude. It was pretty crazy.
We found blood from Mag and just dust from this dude we knew worked
It's
from.
And we know who these people are with DNA evidence, I guess,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. It's like, and obviously, because both these people are dead, they've struck a deal.
Luckily, we've got little vinegar on the case, and he's turned all their water into vinegar. No one's going to be near that crime scene.
God.
But yeah, I can't remember like how they might have gotten that information, but they somehow have it. And yeah, I don't know. To me, that's like, is there a leaker among those folks? I imagine there might be, but that could be fun. But
I mean, it's just one of those.
mole.
Here's the thing. So when it comes to, well, we've gotten reports from. You just don't question it.
I question
It's
it.
anime superhero.
And honestly,
Yeah.
Horikoshi's pretty good about answering questions like that.
I mean, when they're questions.
I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty big one when they're so insular.
I mean, kind of. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it is really neat to. It is neat that we get a little bit of background now. The characters have been introduced. Like, hey, there's this dude. His name is Overhaul. He might be a problem. We don't know.
Yeah. And like
his
that's-
signature is the plague mask.
Yeah, and then I believe Nighteye is gonna hang out with Bubble Girl and Midoria and Deku are gonna hang out so that Deku can feel discouraged.
Yeah, just to continue to see who should have gotten his power.
And then the episode's over.
Yep.
Except no, it isn't after
Yeah.
the credits.
No, yeah, then the credits happen, but the episode
Yeah.
is not over.
Yeah. Then the credits, a little girl's run away. She's like, "Oh God, someone help me!" She runs immediately into Deku, and Deku's the nicest boy in the world.
Yep. Deku's the nicest boy on the planet.
And so it's probably a nice face to see when you're looking for help. Which I guess is exactly what he's aiming for. So that's
That said, when he reaches for her, she immediately recoils. So
Yeah,
she
which-
clearly has some trauma.
good detail.
Yeah.
Signifying abuse. And yeah, then Overhaul is just right there. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's not bug the nice man.
Yeah, like we should make trouble for the heroes. Come on. Like, just
Yeah.
feels like a very, we
And-
all
and-
know what this is.
Yeah, and then Deku's like, oh, fuck. This happened in the credits?
Yeah.
And
doesn't
just like
feel
that,
right.
my work study had started. Is, I believe, the line. And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, that's where the actual proper end is. So we get to see.
You know who the girl is now, kind of.
Yeah, Eri.
Her name's Eri.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Finally, we can say Eri.
Yeah.
That
And
one's a little more
And
tough.
she's connected to Overhaul in some
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Somehow they clearly have a previous connection. My guess, coming as someone who's not read the manga, does not know what's coming, is that she is probably like the daughter of someone in this criminal organization in the Yakuza, and she is just like an innocent little girl who has gotten mixed up in this, and it's just like, well, we can't let you leave. You're part of the family. You know too much. Something. Tough luck, girl.
Yeah, everyone's wondering who's this girl.
Yeah, and that's my guess.
Poor little horn girl.
Yeah, she's got one horn and a lot of bandages, which.
Bad sign.
Yeah, not a not a good look for a little girl running away from a full-grown man.
Yeah.
And saying,
And
somebody please help me.
just imagine Midoriya is like, oh hey, they're little. Oh fuck!
Oh, I've never seen you before, sir, with a very distinct mask and look.
Yeah. At that point, you've got to oh man, next episode. I cannot wait for this because I cannot help but imagine. A billion thoughts must run through his
yeah.
head at that point. Do I grab her and run? What the hell do I do?
It's gonna be pretty intense. I have a feeling. But yeah, to be honest, not a whole like. I don't think it was a bad episode, but just we were kind of talking about it at the beginning. Just still feels like a lot of setup.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with the added, we had that first episode that we kind of going in knew wasn't going to amount to a ton.
Yeah,
It just
it
kind of
hurt
feels
the
like we've
pacing.
we've had what feels like to me 3 episodes in a row of My Hero where I'm kind of like left going like, neat, but I want more.
Yeah, like you're setting the stage,
Yeah.
and I will say, like, once the stage is set and everything's going, it's gonna be fun. It's just, like,
yeah,
they're doing a
and
lot
we
of
got to
that
get there,
setup.
and I do understand that, but
Yeah.
It's
let
like
me-
Hunter x Hunter with the Chimera Ant arc, where it's like takes a long time to get there, but once you get
Yeah.
there, it's fun.
Yeah, because it's
Well, fun's the wrong word for the Chimera Ant arc, but it's good.
Yeah, we are currently climbing up the first dive, and let me tell you, it is the tallest fucking.
And I'm real excited because Overhaul has shown himself to be like he has got a scary power to work with, and we've had like the League of Villains. Even from the beginning, to me, has felt like they're going to sort of be a constant that's just there. Shigaraki is clearly supposed to be the Midoriya evil equivalent, so he is probably not going anywhere. Overhaul, while like clearly a big bad and going to be a major player in this season, I feel like there's a much bigger chance of they're going to have a direct confrontation by the end of this season. Like, feels way more likely than Shigaraki ever does.
I will say with how fast things are moving, I do think we're gonna cover 2 arcs this season.
You think so?
I think this arc is gonna be done. I think it'll be roughly 3/4 of the season, and then the last quarter will be the other one.
Like a
Yeah.
cool
The
down
next
arc,
one.
kind of.
Which, you know what? I would be okay with that personally.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that because then opening with the one after that for the next season would be fun.
Yeah, no, honestly, opening on that one is the best possible arc to open on.
And I know Grant's
no
just sort
idea
of
what
left in the
this
cold here.
means.
We're
Yeah.
intentionally being
Yeah,
very
yeah,
vague.
no.
But the people who know.
Yeah.
So-
Everyone in the know.
Yeah,
I wanna
let
be
me
able to talk to
like
you too.
just to give you an idea. There are 2 arcs after this that are a little bit lighthearted. They have stuff that happens that's important for characters, but it's and they even still have action and fun shit going on.
It's just
but-
not quite the pivotal, big, super high stakes kind of situations.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
this arc.
closer to a sports festival kind of thing, or
Yeah,
tournament, not
yeah,
a
I'd say that.
life in danger issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this arc is some high stakes shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as somebody said, the next 2 arcs little less high stakes.
Which I think that's great because one problem most shonen stories have is feeling like they constantly need to escalate, and you don't. In fact, that's really bad for your story because then you get to the point where I don't really care. The stakes are too big.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the whole world's in trouble again.
And like honestly, the sports festival is still maybe my favorite arc of this show so far.
Yeah.
So like they can definitely work with lower stakes.
yeah, and this
issues.
thing like when the stakes are too high, it's impossible to care anymore. And the reason for that, from a storytelling perspective, is as an audience member, like, oh no, the whole world's at stake. You know the story's not going to end with the whole world dying.
Yeah.
But oh no, this one person is at stake. The story could have one character die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could happen, and the story could still move on. So that level of stakes is very good. But once you get to the point of like, oh, we're gonna lose everything. Well, they're not gonna lose everything.
You also don't necessarily even need death. Because when it comes to stakes,
Yeah.
sometimes it's all about, will this character develop past will they overcome this hurdle, this challenge? Will they change in the way that they need to? Will they realize this thing about themselves?
Todoroki accept half of his powers.
Yeah, it's whenever you have like grand world-ending stakes, like cool, it's like a whole ocean that's really shallow, as opposed to like a pond that's really deep for like the right level of stakes. And luckily, so far in the manga, My Hero's very good at like keeping the right kind of stakes alive instead of just going, all right, gotta make it bigger, now bigger, now bigger.
Yeah.
Don't need to do that.
Like-
In fact, that's bad for a story.
I mean, hell, the last big arc in the manga is it has to do with one group of characters. It doesn't have to do with this big world-ending thing.
Yeah, and I hope the story never gets to the point where it's like, oh, we're gonna destroy the world, because then I won't care.
Yeah.
Because I know what's gonna happen at that point. So that
Make the threat the villain is getting the power to get the power to end the world, and that's the scary.
Although-
Well, and also like basically what I'm getting to is just I like that Kohei Horikoshi knows to, once you have high stakes stuff, you bring the stakes back down again, because then you don't have to make the stakes super high just to make it feel exciting again.
I mean, hell, this arc in and of itself isn't quite as high stakes as the last one. Because the last one had to do with the possibility of one of the worst villains in the entire world history of this universe possibly getting away.
Yeah.
And so but so let's not talk too much about future stuff, because obviously, but I think this is where the story proper is actually going to start, if I remember correctly, and that's good.
Yeah. I think there's still going to be a little bit of a slower build-up over the next couple episodes, but
Oh yeah.
I think there'll be a lot more movement in the story, and I think that's just what we're spending a lot of time on individual small things. And I think more things will be happening concurrently going forward.
One thing I did notice is that the animation in this episode, you can already tell that it's starting to look a little bit better as time goes on.
They took a little bit more time with a few things. Some of the stuff with Midoriya moving around and using his power. Again, Night-Eye's hands, just him doing stuff with his hands.
Yeah, actually, all of Night-Eye's movements in this felt really clean, and I like that.
And a lot of smart uses of just single frames that are just meant to
That
mean
you just
slow
hold on,
motion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're not thinking about how cheap it was to do it, but it was cheap to do it.
I can also appreciate the way that they signify his time, his future fucking quirk.
Where just like everything blacks out around him and he's seeing Deku. Or...
All the clocks. Like,
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Steins Gate, so that visual iconography, yeah, it really does it for me.
I liked, cause they kind of just slipped this in there. Bubble Girl and Mirio have to leave the room for Deku's test. And as they're going, Bubble Girl's like, "Did you have to do anything like this? Was this something you had to do?" And Mirio's like, "No, Sir Nighteye like sought me out and found me," which I think is a pretty big deal because I had gone in here thinking that Mirio's like goofy attitude was maybe a result of him having the "you need to be humorous" beaten into him. But it sounds like he was already cool with Nighteye from the get-go. So this is just kind of who he is.
Yeah, and you know, but Bubblegirl's just like, "Oh, he likes you better than everyone else." And he's like, "Oh, shucks."
Like, yep, he sure does.
But yeah, so I think that's most of what we have to say.
kinda it for
I
this
think.
episode.
Yeah. So episode 3, My Hero Academia. I'm again really looking forward to the next episode because this is where the serious stuff starts to happen. We still probably have an episode or 2 more of build up, but
They do kind of, and I know some people are avoiding end of episode next time ons. They do kind of, I think, maybe tip the hat a little too heavily on the next time on for this one because they. I mean, I guess you could stop listening right here if you're nervous about that. But Deku straight up goes, he's like, "I can't believe I had to let Eri go with Overhaul." Like that's how he opens the next
Oh
time
my
on.
God,
So I'm like,
yeah.
Jesus, okay, thanks.
Cool. I imagine that'll happen in the first 5 minutes then.
Yeah. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's going to be like the first scene.
Yeah.
Because he acts like the big part of this next episode is I find out why Nighteye and All Might, like part of why they broke up, basically. And that sounds exciting, but I was a little miffed that they just opened with that
Yeah.
on the next time on.
I didn't even watch the previously on like myself because I was like, yeah, whatever.
yeah, I mean, I didn't either because I mean, I don't have to. But wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what a thing to give away.
He's like, "Ugh, handing off Eri like that was awful, but I'll find out." I'm just like, what? Why would you say that? Anyway,
Lame.
sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, it's not the most important thing, but it is a rather important decision. that
Yeah,
was
no,
made.
it's a big deal, but I'm guessing it's going to be a very quick intro of the episode, and then we're moving on from it very quickly. But it was wild to me that they just said that.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, you have any closing thoughts?
Well, like I said, I'm pretty sure Eri is somehow related. You know what? Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They keep saying that Overhaul is the number 2 in the Yakuza. Eri is the number 1's daughter. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that as my prediction.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have any predictions. I'll just say I want to reiterate that I did like the episode. I'm looking forward to this story having some more movement.
I think it's great for character development for Izuku. Well, not necessarily development for his own character, but progression. It's good to see that, oh, cool, he's in the internship, and the way that he does it is a pretty well-made scenario. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's way better written than, like, I feel like this could have been filler. I feel like there could have been like some filler bullshit that they attached to it to make it more interesting, but this is way better than I think any of that could have been.
They could have cut to Mirio meeting Nighteye and Bubble Girl meeting Nighteye and made it fill the whole episode, like comparing their experiences.
We could have extended on the others, like going like, Fourth Kind and Gunhead aren't eligible. We could have had whole
actually
scenes
show
dedicated
scenes
to
of
them going.
saying, no, we can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is thank you so much for being a seasonal anime, My Hero Academia.
Definitely, I much appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as we wish it were moving more now, like, oh god, just imagine if it were just constantly coming out.
Yeah. No, I'm imagining the
They would have already
universe-
caught up for one.
Yes, I'm imagining the universe, the alternate universe where Black Clover wasn't adapted and instead My Hero Academia was.
boy.
And oh man. No.
Really, the moral of the story is don't give Toei your manga ever, because they will fuck it up.
Ah. Damn.
It's true.
Bruh.
If they're gonna
Imagine if Studio Bones had One Piece.
I mean, on one hand, that sounds kind of neat. On the other hand,
Is that because of your feelings on One Piece?
I mean, here's the thing.
Because Toei does a terrible job with One Piece.
I mean, any studio could have any manga. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. Madhouse has made some garbage.
I'll argue that I think Boruto could be really fun if Toei weren't doing it.
That's not Toei.
I was gonna
It's
say.
not.
I don't
Who's
think
doing that one?
Oh,
then?
Toei Animation aren't the only people who make.
No, they aren't. I
video
just thought they had like most of the Shonen Jump stuff. Who's doing that one?
Studio Pierrot.
Okay,
Yeah.
Studio Pierrot. Then.
Yeah.
If it weren't
Then them.
yeah,
They're the new
then
targets.
those guys. But okay, I was off base on that one.
I
I
like
know Toei does One Piece though.
I think it's worth saying that it doesn't matter who owns Boruto. Boruto's always going to suck because it's Boruto.
I think it could be goofy fun if it were actually fun to watch.
I still submit that it might have the best fight in all of Naruto.
No. You mean from the
That-
arc?
yeah, that was
arc
a movie.
that was a movie and was
Yeah.
written by Kishimoto.
Yeah, no, that's the
Yeah.
best.
That's alongside that other arc that's also written by Kishimoto. That's fucking amazing and
Yeah.
involves Sakura of all characters getting one of the most badass fights in all of Naruto.
Yeah, no, it's one
Yeah.
of the best.
But
Just
I
throw it
don't know.
out there.
I'm just in the place of like, One Piece it sucks, super sucks. I'm very much not in Toei's camp when it comes to anime. I haven't seen a good anime from them in a long time.
The Pretty Cure stuff.
I definitely have not watched that.
Yeah, no, Pretty Cure, all Pretty Cure.
I won't say you're wrong. I can't speak to that one.
Yeah.
I just know in terms of shonen, I have not seen anything interesting come out of them.
Real quick, since we're talking about studios, I never know how to name this studio. They work on a lot of Tales stuff, and I've been recently watching Demon Slayer. UFO Table? UFO Table? Is it like, do you pronounce it all as one thing?
You know, I have no idea.
I think they like to say UFO table,
UFO Table?
Yeah, it's probably UFO table. That's
but
probably what
but
they
it is
say.
literally about a UFO table. But they like to pronounce it
UFO.
UFO table.
Either way, they make really pretty stuff.
Apparently, I'm the first person Dizzy Dreamer the first American that Dizzy Dreamer's ever met to pronounce the name Studio Pierrot correctly. Apparently, people don't know what a Pierrot is.
No.
Also,
Pierrot.
it's also really
Pierrot?
sad because Studio Pierrot has some of the best animators in the industry working for them, but apparently their working conditions are shite.
Not surprising. It is Japan's animation industry. But yeah, and I will say, like, One Piece has some amazingly animated moments. Unfortunately, they're moments in a sea of bad.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, a lot of people don't understand how that works because a lot of people think that, just get more animators or give them more money. Yeah. The reason that anime
I mean,
looks...
yes, give animators more money, but
yes,
that's not
yes,
why.
give animators more money, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
You could double the amount of money that you're giving them. That's not going to make the animation better. You'd have to double the amount of money you're giving them, first of all, just because you should do that.
and
because
actually plan your production well.
Yes, and also double the amount of time that these things are being worked on, and you will get way, way better looking anime in general.
Yeah. Someone's saying the problem is the amount of talent. No, you are blatantly wrong when you say that.
Wait, what?
Someone said the problem is the amount of talent. No,
Well-
you are incorrect.
Well, I mean, from a certain point of view, because in the industry right now, there is a glut of actual shows being worked on, and animators are getting stretched very, very thin.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, those people aren't without talent. They are having their talent stretched very thin.
Yeah.
Their resources essentially.
Nobody's talented enough to make a 60-hour work week somehow work for them. So
Yeah. It is a stressful time for any animator in Japan, which is why, for better and for worse, a bunch of web animators are being brought on now.
Yeah, and some folks, yeah, and while I'm happy for them that they get to work on projects they like, I really hope they're not allowing themselves to be, taken advantage of.
It's been sort of tough. Some of them are, because let's face it, if you are an animator from China or the Philippines and you really want to get into the industry and they contact you and they give you a job for this big show, how much of an argument are you really going to have as one person without any representation to get paid the amount that you really want to get paid?
Yeah.
And guess what? It's not great. The Japanese animation industry really abuses a lot of the people that work for them, which is why the Studio Kyoto stuff, Kyoto Animation stuff was so absolutely devastating, because Kyoto Animation is one of the leading...
One of the studios that has not been doing that.
It had the most female animators It had the most well-paid, some of the most well-paid and well-taken care of animators.
Female directors.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not common. Like, even on shows like that are considered girl shows, it's usually a dude directing it.
Yeah. And so, yeah. We've gone on a huge tangent.
No, that's fine. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like we don't have the time to fill. But
Yeah.
true.
But yeah. So, hey, man, if you love anime, consider actually donating to some of the funds that people have set up to help pay animators better. There are some. There are actually.
though I would say, that is one thing. It doesn't fix the systemic issues within Japan that need to be addressed, which are at the top level. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
just being loud about that is more important in the long run. Is just like when you hear about these stories, spread them around and be like, fuck this and fuck the companies doing this.
I
you
agree.
know?
Did you know that the director for Phantom? Was it the 5th JoJo show?
Golden Wind.
Golden Wind. Apparently,
What a name.
he had not been paid
Just at all.
until the show was over.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough stuff. It's the anime industry is terrible a little bit.
Cross Legion is asking thoughts on Beastars. Scott.
I want to make a video all about Beastars. You guys have no idea. Beastars is one of my favorite manga of all time, and I am
Unfortunately,
not
we
kidding.
just can't watch it.
Unfortunately,
Ever.
we cannot watch it because
Netflix has chosen not to show it until they've decided it's cool to show it.
Netflix jail is a real thing, and it's the worst.
It's just regions, man.
Guys, I actually don't like pirating my anime if I don't have to. And I don't like the fact that the only way that I'm able to watch Beastars right now is with a fucking VPN.
Yeah.
I want to
Not that we've
watch
done
it.
that.
I want to watch Beastars. I really do. I'm buying the actual physical releases of the manga as they come out in America.
I thought he was going to say, I'm buying a VPN.
Yeah. I have 3
We,
and
we
4
have VPNs.
Yeah, we do.
That's just the way he said it.
I just cannot stress how good the manga for Beastars actually is. I've had a couple people that I've pushed them into it, and they come back to me like, "I can't believe you've done this to me," and I'm like, "What can I tell you, man?"
And I will say, like, what little I've seen of Beastars seems like the animation is actually surprisingly alive. From the teaser unfortunately didn't show off a lot of the better animation. It showed a lot of like animation that looked like just normal like Bezier curves and stuff going from key pose to key pose, and it looked like they were just modulating frames to 15 just to do it.
The anime is a little bit difficult because one of the things that they're doing is that in the first episode they adapted 5 chapters.
Is it a little too much to adapt in one episode?
Yeah, by a lot. Because here's the thing: there is this thing that happens at the very end of that first episode that they just had to end on. Apparently, they just absolutely had to. And it's like the only way you're going to do that is if you skip over a bunch of the world building stuff. So they skipped over all of the world building stuff.
Well, that sounds like a good way to kick your thing off.
Yeah, and which is sucks because the direction on the Beastars anime is top notch. Fucking the music's amazing.
But they felt like they had to have something be the hook.
Yeah, and it's really sad because Beastars is not a series that benefits from rushing through.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know the context, but does it end with a murder?
It starts with a murder.
Oh, it starts with a murder.
Yeah.
Then you have your hook. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, here's the thing, and here's the part that kills me is that
The murder.
they show you the very, very first scene in it before they show you the murder is the scene that they end on in the first episode, and it's not even attached to the murder, and it's a really great scene. It's a really great shot.
Yeah. Is it something where they could have been like, little did the characters know this
actually-
was going to happen in the future at the end of the episode
No,
without rushing?
actually, you've seen it. You've seen it in the trailers. It's the shot with the wolf dude holding the bunny.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to end it on because it's such a big moment. But I'm like, you didn't need to get to this in the first episode.
Oh,
it
yeah.
could have been at the end of the second
That
episode.
doesn't sound like a great hook.
It's
Not like a murder.
anyway. But yeah.
Well, while we're talking, I don't know, unless you guys want to leave, but while we're talking about shonen anime stuff, and while we're still filling out an hour, which we may as well. I haven't watched Demon Slayers. Do you have you seen that at all?
I've heard it's really fucking good.
I'd like to watch it.
I'm going to.
I'm about 9 episodes in. I think that so far for me, it's got really cool like visual stuff going on. I think plot wise, I'm kind of like here or there for so far. But what I do like is I feel like they keep introducing like these, abhorrent demon villains, but by the end of like their fight, there's usually some tinge of humanizing them somewhere in there. And it's like, even though like we have to kill you because you're a friggin' demon that's slaughtering people, like at the end you're like, oh, it was just this guy, this character, this thing that was like caught in a really shitty situation and had this demonism like kind of forced on them, and it's like making you kind of feel sad with every fight, but also a good shonen, I can do this if I grit my teeth hard enough kind of stuff.
It is always difficult for me to get into a new series when I go to the Wikipedia and I see ongoing. That is not that. Oh, that's such a turnoff every single time.
You don't want your long stories.
Yeah, if I had to be honest
Or if
with
they're
you,
going to be long, you want to know that they at least had an ending.
which that's here. I am over here saying, "Hey guys, watch and read Beastars," and it's still ongoing.
Yeah. My Hero's still ongoing.
Yeah,
Yep.
but apparently the manga's in its final arc. So hey, but
Wait, Beastars or My Hero?
I think they're talking about
Kimetsu no Yaiba,
Demon
Demon
Slayer.
Slayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of personally interested in actually catching up on Demon Slayer, especially since
From what I've seen, I think it's worth it.
Apparently-
And I haven't even apparently met the character everybody loves yet, so
apparently the season's over, so I might as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of anime that I caught up on, have you ever heard of Anohana?
No.
No.
I cried like a bitch at the end of that one.
You
This
are a
is-
little bitch, so.
Dude, I as the older I get, the more I cry. I've already gotten like emotionally like compromised by the latest season of Young Justice, and an episode or two are Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, I'm telling
be
you, Parks
emotional
and Rec is
yeah.
going to make you cry like a baby
It's
on
got a
multiple
couple
occasions.
in there that really get you. So I wasn't on Anime FMK very much or at all, really. A couple things I think you guys talked about that I've caught up on in like the last couple months. Watched Promised Neverland. That show seems real
shit.
good. I really liked that first season. Very much enjoyed that. And A Silent Voice. I watched that the other day, and that one.
jeez.
Talk about something that's gonna make you cry.
Yeah. Did you tear up?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
I won't front. I totally did.
Yeah. I've actually talked about this
It was
pretty
not
often.
a big cry, but definitely the
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
It was the scene when you see what happened on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
I killed me. I
was
just started
really-
immediately crying. And then I cried at the end. I cried 3 times. That stupid movie.
I've avoided that movie so far, even though I saw it was on Netflix, and I'm interested in it just because I feel like I'm not in the mood for that right now.
yeah. If you're not looking for something that's gonna maybe bum you out a little bit,
Nick invited me to go see The Lighthouse. And I'm like, I'm just not emotionally okay enough right now for a psychological horror between 2 people. So I'm just
Apparently,
gonna...
there's lots of farting.
I guess if you're 2 dudes stuck together, that's gonna become a topic at some point.
I will say while we're recommending shit, I'm gonna recommend non-anime shit, and
Go ahead.
that is go watch Barry on HBO. It is an amazing show. Like it is.
Oh,
think I know anything
the
about
biography of Barack Obama?
No. It's the show starring Bill Hader about an assassin who wants to become an actor.
Actually, that's...
Close.
Ooh,
It's an
wait.
amazing
no,
show.
I've seen the commercials for that. Doesn't he have a daughter?
No,
Oh.
but
Man.
Barry is an amazing show. I love it.
That sounds... Honestly, that does sound terrific.
It is, and it's 8 episodes a season, and there's 2 seasons so far, and they're only half an hour long. But they feel just as impactful as an hour-long drama after you've watched it.
Huh. All right.
It's a crazy mix of like really good dramatic storytelling and also fucking hilarious.
Okay. I am about that concept.
It's great.
Yeah. I haven't been watching a lot of... Oh, I did watch The Boys.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
I still have
Yeah.
not watched it.
I know you recommended it a lot.
Yeah, dude. So I watched The Boys, which is an Amazon Prime video series all about superheroes being assholes.
Hey, thank X for
for
raiding us.
X the DAC one. So fucking X. Yep. The Boys is a fantastic show that is a satire / homage / takedown / deconstruction of basically the Marvel Cinematic Universe, actually. That is essentially what it is.
It seems very DC tinted to me.
So
It's got a Justice League vibe.
So it is very much what happens when we take the culture that has evolved around the MCU and the world of DC.
Yeah. The archetypes are very DC.
And this is the show, because the comic is garbage.
That's because isn't it written by Mark Millar?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's garbage.
Wait. Actually, I don't know if it's Mark Millar.
Let's look it up first.
But in fact, it's not Mark Millar. But it is exactly the kind of garbage that Mark Millar would write. And that's right. The Wanted comic is also garbage.
The Kingsman comic is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
The Kick-Ass comic is fucking garbage.
I will say this, though. If you like
Old
that,
Man Logan sucks.
Yeah. And what I just said, even though I stated it like an subjective fact, is not a fact. That is just my opinion. But some people are going to say me looking into the camera and saying that something is garbage is suddenly me saying that as a fact. It's not. You might like it. You might
it's not
love
an
it.
insult to the people who like it.
Yeah,
It is an insult to Mark Millar.
It is an insult to Mark Millar. I will insult Mark Millar all fucking day.
I don't think Mark Millar did The Boys though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark Millar is the kind of guy who people buy the rights to his stories and then make a way better version of it every time.
That's what happens.
But no, you're talking about The Boys.
Yeah. So The Boys is stupendous. It has a little bit of trouble with its tonal consistency. I will say that. And they made a move at the end of this last season, which was very obvious. You don't know if you're going to be able to get the actor back for the next season, so now you're setting it up to where they might die or might live. Okay, yeah. But that being said, it is just so very good, and it is also incredibly hard to watch. Like, let me tell you, there is
uncomfortable or
uncomfortable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a scene that.
It's a little grimdark.
And for a purpose though. It is trying to sell you very hard that these are not good people.
Okay.
It's not Snyder grimdark. It's like actually like wants to make a point grimdark.
Yes.
It's like disappointing because you're like, I know people like this kind of grim
Yeah.
and dark. Okay.
Yeah. But the actual whereas the comic is just, how many offensive things can we have these heroes do because fuck superheroes, because that's Mark Millar's whole fucking thing. He hates superheroes. No.
Except he wrote a comic called Huck. That one wasn't that bad. But anyway.
But yeah,
Already going back.
Yeah. So I just cannot it's not the perfect show, but it's got something. There's just so much going on. There's a character in there who is an ex-Christian. Not an ex-Christian, but she's a kind of a lapsed Christian. Like, she's
questioning her faith.
There's a scene where she comes back and finds out that, wow, like this church, this event that I used to go to, never used to have sex and you'll go to hell things and all this stuff. She comes back to that and hit me really hard as someone who was a Christian into his teenage years and saw all that shit. It's got a lot of poignancy to it, and I like a show. I love a show that talks about serious subjects like that. Because it wants to make an emotional point, not just if you think this, you're an idiot. No, Here's the emotional response that people have from stuff like this, and that's way more important to me. So yeah,
I watched Living with Yourself on Netflix, starring Paul Rudd and Paul Rudd.
Ooh.
It's okay. It's 8 episodes long. I feel like it was probably originally pitched as a movie, and someone went, we could make a miniseries out of that, because it felt very stretched. But had some good points, and Paul Rudd's really charming throughout. So,
Paul Rudd charming?
I know. Shocking.
I don't believe it.
I've literally never seen anything from Paul Rudd that I liked.
Oh, well, this probably won't change your mind.
Are you being serious?
No.
Okay.
I didn't think
Because-
you were.
If you were, I was gonna say Parks and Rec might actually change your mind. He shows up.
Is he in Parks and Rec?
Yeah, he's not a huge character, but he will show up.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
You will love
That's.
it.
I forgot.
Yeah, he's
who
great.
No, he's great at that.
He's an amazing character.
He's excellent.
Okay, cool.
Parks and Rec is so good.
Yeah,
Let's just talk about how good Parks and Rec is.
I'm
now.
on season 3.
Okay. Then I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but I honestly liked it ending.
But yeah, the only thing that I can remember Paul Rudd from actually are the 2 Ant-Man movies, and if you
And look, if you walked away from those saying I haven't remembered anything Paul Rudd was in that I liked, I wouldn't fault you for it.
well,
Not
here's the thing.
Not that I think they're bad. It's just they are not exemplary
Mediocre.
Marvel movies. Let's say. Yeah.
There are some people who like to argue that Ant-Man and the Wasp is the better of the two, and I
I'm one of
struggle.
those people.
Yeah,
I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is a better action comedy than the first one. I think it has better set pieces.
Yes,
It's more fun to watch while you're watching.
It is definitely a more fun movie, although
Story's shaky, but it's an excuse for all the set pieces.
I will say some of the camera work in that one is less than. Actually, I'm really disappointed with like the latter half of the entire MCU and its camera work because I feel like they got worse as it went on. Captain America, those movies had some of the best camera work out of all of them, but all the ones surrounding them,
Well, that's because now we're gonna get into it. Grant, if you end up wanting to go home during this, you can.
I did say I was going to meet someone around 6.
All right, you know what? We're wrapping. We're wrapping.
No.
I want to hear this.
I was like, okay, so the Russo brothers obviously directed the Captain America movies. They also did Infinity War and Endgame, and those are stylistically the most creatively directed, and like the cinematography is the most creative in those movies. And that's because the Russo brothers have always been the kind of directors to be more ambitious than people expect them to be. If you've ever watched Community, the Russo brothers directed all the best episodes of Community.
Wow.
They directed almost the entire first 3 seasons by themselves.
Damn.
Not always, but like, Modern Warfare was them. All the paintball episodes that were good were them. So and just that's why the camera work in the first few seasons of Community is so ambitious. They're like moving the camera around. It's a lot of single shot stuff here and there, because it's more than just telling a joke to them. It's about actually using the camera for storytelling.
And that's something that a lot of people don't understand is that a comedy is not just 2 characters talking to each other or one thing happening and another thing responding. There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, and the Russo brothers also directed the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development, and that's part of why Arrested Development is so good. But yeah, and so yeah, when the Russo brothers are in, they will make sure that it's creative. And honestly, Ryan Coogler's a guy who does that too. Black Panther has some moments that are very creative visually. Unfortunately, when they took the action scenes away from him, the action scenes suffered. Because the one action scene he did direct is fucking great. That's the one in the casino.
Yeah.
But then the last one that he didn't direct is the one that everyone made fun of.
So, by the way, it is amazing to find out why that scene is so bad. Literally, they had like 2 months, I think, or was it 6 weeks to actually
because the same team works on all the other movies.
Yeah.
So they have to like jump from one movie to the next one.
They had 6 weeks from filming that scene to it coming out to make that work.
Yeah, those poor people.
Yeah.
I hope Kevin Feige now that he has full control of everything, can be like, this is how I want to do it.
Which, by the way, just holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just the thing with the MCU is that most people who go into the MCU, they're not able to maintain continue to have a hold of their creative style when they go in. And I think that's part of why Edgar Wright left, but I think he also left because of a creative committee that was involved that has now been booted.
Yeah.
And like Adam McKay, like he made the Anchorman movies, which, when you don't think about them when it comes to creative directing, he did the Ant-Man movies. He also made 2 movies that I recently watched that I fucking love, which are The Big Short and Vice, that Dick Cheney movie with Christian Bale.
I saw The Big Short.
They're both actually really good, and I'm like, cool. I love Adam McKay, like as a director now. I still don't like the Ant-Man movies very much.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this. I don't even know when we're going to cut off the actual My Hero video at this point.
I'm just going to leave this. They can stick around.
Yeah, no.
I'm the one putting it up, and guess what? I'm going to cut off a little bit of the intro, and you're getting the rest of this.
All right.
You can
know
leave,
what?
and we say we're done with My Hero if you want, but if you're still here, you missed your chance.
Yep.
We care a lot about animation and filmmaking. We just want to talk about it.
Next week, apparently, maybe Izuku Midoriya lets Eri go.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
And also some unrelated shit next week.
Hit the